Hello there. Welcome back to Billy Ho Sports. Continuing our coverage for Jim Dandy Week at Saratoga, I've got a couple of appetizers to whet your beak. Coming up Thursday is the Curlin Steaks, and on Friday is the Grade 2 Amsterdam. And we're going to reset the split the pot draws. So everybody commenting on the upcoming Saratoga content will go into the draw. We're also doing separate draws for Delmar videos. Those are the Bing Crosby San Diego handicap coming up. I believe the Eddie Reed is a nice looking stakes race that I'm looking at as well over there. So I believe that might be Sunday. So check the description for details for all the races. But basically, to be eligible for the draw, you most definitely have to subscribe to the channel. B, smash that like button. C, leave a comment. Does get your name in the draw. So tell me your favorite in either of these two races, and we're going to go ahead and get started with the Curlin Stakes. Let's jump in and look at the contenders. So race number 9 on Thursday's card is the Curlin Stakes. It's a listed stakes, 135K. We're going to start with number 1. That is Chancer McPatrick, and Chad Brown's entry. Faces a lot of pressure this week to return to that form he had down here at Saratoga when he came out of the gate and was just winning everything. He breaks his maiden first out, then goes back-to-back Grade 1 wins, going 7 furlongs to a mile. And then something happened to him at the Breeders' Cup Juvenile, and he just didn't come out in 2025 the same horse, it feels like. It looked promising in the Tampa Bay Derby here when he tracked a lot closer to the pace, which I liked, and then finished second, but could not catch Owen Almighty on that slow -10, -16 pace. Then goes to the Toyota Bluegrass and just does absolutely nothing, no bid, nothing whatsoever, going 2 turns. And then obviously the Woody Stevens terrible idea, just never had anything going on there as well. So not really. I did go back and look at the Woody again, and Pratt could not shake him loose from Neo Equos down the stretch. They were sitting there playing kissy face huggy bear while Patch Adams was rolling to the finish. So Brown, not much excuses. They drop him into, this is restricted company in case you didn't notice in the conditions. These are for 3-year-olds which have not won a graded stakes at a mile or over this year. So that just kind of eliminates some of the horses that can get into this race and makes competition a little easier. Obviously, the rail post 22%, and Pratt jumps ship. I'll talk about the jockey carousel at the end of the segment here. So stick around for that. So Irad Ortiz gets the excuse me, gets the mount here, and I had a quote out of an article out from DRF that Brown was just kind of stuck like Chuck with this horse. He didn't really have any options. He says the options aren't great. I'd prefer to run him on a dry dirt track at Saratoga where he has 2 wins, but having never won a race around 2 turns, it's not really what I want to do. But the Amsterdam is just too short for him. So he really only had the Curlin and the Amsterdam kind of for this racing. So he's pigeonholed into the Curlin, which is the route race. So he's not, that doesn't bode a lot of confidence in my book. So let's jump to number 2, Fountain Lake. This is John Ortiz's horse. Pretty solid, 12-1 morning line, trying to move up the ranks after 3 good outings at Churchill. Last race was his first attempt at 9 furlongs. He looked flat late, but Leparoux could have been dialing it back. I'm not really sure because he wasn't going to beat So Sandy that day anyway. And did run second to Hypnus, who's in this race, the prior at Churchill. So he picks up Luis Saez to ride and could surprise here. Could be a longer shot to look at. And of course, this is the horse that's probably going to garner the most attention is Brown's other entry, Strategic Focus. You can see Flavien Pratt jumps off of Chancer McPatrick. He rode Chancer McPatrick in all 7 starts in his career, and now he wants to ride Strategic Focus. And I think I know why, because when we get into discussion of the races, basically this race, you can see he's listed. He wins the race, but placed second through disqualification. Well, in my book, that was a horseshit DQ because he was easily passing his stablemate, the 2-horse Marachuk, that who, by the way, won the next race over his stablemate. It looks a really nice looking, speedy horse in his own right. But he crossed over, and credit Pratt for selling the foul because he kind of jerked the horse over and made it look like it was worse than it was. But he probably was winning that race all the way anyway. So the 107 speed figure, Gunrunner Progeny, just impeccably bred. You got Curlin's mistress who's back Curlin, so you got Gun Runner on one side, Curlin on the other, and so you got Chad Brown, Flavian Pratt, and this horse is just up and coming. Now it was just a 50K optional claimer that he won, but it was a pretty impressive victory over that stablemate that I thought. I know he got DQ'd, but it wasn't really, in my book, wasn't a true DQ. Now Hypnus is another one, kind of an up and comer for Kenny McPeak. Didn't really do well on the Derby Trail. Ran fourth in the Lexington and then dropped into optional claiming company and started running a lot better. Ran second behind Goal Oriented, which is no slouch. I thought Goal Oriented ran a very good Haskell this past weekend, and then he comes out and he wins against Fountain Lake and some. Actually, I thought that the Derby Day claimer under the same conditions was a much better field, but the 96 speed figure did dip. He is moving up in class from the last race, so I'm still a little bit skeptical. I know my buddy Siggy Mendoza, shout out Siggy, likes this horse, and he'll probably have a few comments on X this week. So Just a Fair Shake is our next one. 30-1 long shot. He ran with Crudo two back, struggled in the Pegasus, finished fourth. Might have been a tougher field, but in the Barton, they all needed binoculars to see Crudo going down the stretch there. And he was 7 lengths clear, or he was 7.5. Is that what it was? Yeah, 7.5 lengths behind. So, it's just that was a restricted race as well. So Just a Fair Shake, long shot, no shot, as they say. And Crudo, this is the one I kind of liked. I saw him from the Maiden Breaker by 7.25, so he likes that distance at Keeneland. And I thought this horse looks really good on the front end, but he feels like he could track. He's sired by Justify, so he could. I feel like I'd like to see him rate a little bit, but he does drop in class from the Belmont. And he did kind of be up on the front end there for a while, but then he tired. But many will tire when you got journalism and sovereignty breathing down your throat, and horses like Baeza who are just on another level. So Crudo gets 47 days off, and Johnny V keeps the mount. So I think this is a nice value horse. I don't know how much attention he'll garner, but he did get a pair of walkover victories, in those, like I thought, the Sir Barton and the Maiden Breakers. So I don't know if Pletcher's just not known for pushing his horses that hard, but I would have liked to have seen a little bit better. The 4-48 is decent, but the 4-49, 4-50, just really kind of he does seem to have one fiery type work in the 3 leading up to each race. So hopefully Crudo comes in ready, and we'll see what happens. And now this one's kind of interesting. Sherry DeVoe's So Sandy. 6-1 morning line, broke the maiden at the Horseshoe, kind of low key, but then stepped up in company to the 1 1/8 optional claimer, and she won by 2, or he won by 2. So Sandy, but anyway, beat Fountain Lake. It wasn't really all. I didn't think all that an optional claiming field, but it might be a nice little underneath value type play. And then we have Uncaged. Uncaged is cross entered for Friday in the Amsterdam, which we'll discuss next race. 15-1, another Pletcher kind of wannabe. Couldn't cut the mustard in the stakes company. Lost by 10, lost by 19. Won an optional claimer for 100. Did break the maiden at Saratoga going 6. So I would venture to guess that it might be a good idea to try him in the tomorrow's or Friday's Amsterdam. So we'll see what happens. He might split these horses up. But if he does go there, this is still a cut back in distance since he did run in the Belmont, but he was awful. He wasn't even anywhere close he tracked the pace a little bit early on, but he dropped way back after getting tired. So I venture to guess the best spot for him would be that sprint. So break off just for a minute. Okay, so if you look at the track bias, closers are 0 for 14. I think that hurts Chancellor McPatrick's chances unless they try to, which I liked in the Tampa Bay Derby, to get him up closer to the pace. I know he's listed as a P for presser, but he gets way far back and then makes a big run at the end. He's more of a closer, in my opinion. Pratt jumped off that sinking ship to ride the young beast Strategic Focus, but the one that got me was Irad Ortiz defects from Pletcher to ride for Brown. Irad Ortiz is like him and Johnny V are Pletcher's go-to guys, and he jumps off of I believe it was Crudo was the one. No, not Crudo. Johnny V rode Crudo, so I thought, he may still yet ride Uncaged, but he would have been listed on Uncaged, I would have thought. Anyway, the Dylan Davis is riding uncaged. But I think I'm just going to have to stick with keying the key horse at Strategic Focus. I'll look at the odds to see what kind of value shakes out there, but 6-5 morning line seems a little underlayish to me. I think Strategic Focus looks really strong early on, but a very, very lightly raced horse. So I don't know that I can go that low on the odds with that one, but I would key him on top like a key box because I like six. I like the number 6 Crudo as kind of a value play, and maybe use the Chancer McPatrick and the 4 horse, which was pardon me, I'll look it up real quick. I forgot Hypnus, obviously. So yeah, 146 underneath value play Crudo. Let's move on and jump into the Amsterdam, and that's Friday's race. We're going 6.5 furlongs. Let's get into it. 6.5 furlongs, grade 2 sprint. Good looking field, tough field too. So we start with number 1, Macho Music. Was just busted everybody's head on Pat Day Mile Day, almost 14-1, went wire to wire. I still remember that race. I said, is he going to give it up? I just kept waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting for that horse to get tired, and he just never did. And I think maybe it just took a little bit out of him too much because he comes back just barely a month later, and I would call that a complete bounce in the Woody. He led most of the way and then just absolutely gassed around the turn in the heavy muck and mire of the muddy Saratoga track. So I'm not going to blame him for that. Comes in fresh, going to be the horse to beat. And then it goes from Castellano to Irad coming out of the one hole. This should be really just a really, really good opportunity for a chalky horse to get it done. Then you have Garamond face planted in the Pegasus. Prior to that, did win this stupid 3-horse race. And I barely accept 4-horse races, to be honest with you. But when they get to 3, they should just really cancel the race altogether. I don't care who it offends, as far as connections go, because how do you run a race for $100,000 and have 3 horses in it where they all get a check? It's just like free money. So, I mean, I understand why the horses got in it, but he did beat Cornucopian, but Cornucopian kind of proven to be a bit fraudulent. So I'm not really sure what to think about that, but this is a horse I do like. Smoking Wicked, Dallas Stewart, Brian Hernandez, the Maxfield Maxfield listed at Churchill was just really good, solid race. He was defeated. I mean, he was heads up with Verifier. Verifier is a very good, very, very good horse on the front end there, and the 100 speed figure shows it. He just really mashed it down the stretch and tried to keep up. So I think that plenty of time off since then. Hopefully June, July should be about right for a sprinter. I think he's improving. I think that that race was kind of like a watershed moment for him. He ran second in the Lafayette. I think the horse is ready to win a stakes race here. He's got a couple of state bred stakes races back at Fairgrounds at 2024. I like him. T Craft. This one looks pretty good too, to be honest with you. Bill Mott had to have been tapping his heels waiting on this one to break the maiden. Took 6 long starts. But once he got a taste, he ran off 2 straight after that for 3 in a row. Got the optional claimer in the Jimmy Winkfield at Aqueduct, which is pretty good. And I thought ran a pretty solid race in the Woody Stevens, was in the mix, but just kind of got walled off down the stretch and then wore out. So I don't knock that at all. Jose Lescano, low key good jockey on these sprint races. So I think, fast track sprint race, I think that could be a good sleeper pick. Probably too much too soon to try that Woody, but he did run with the big dogs most of the way. He just didn't have anything left. Number 5, Gate to Wire, I think is another it's kind of sneaky value type horse. 6th in Woody Stevens, just kind of past tired horses. Kind of the similar, it got beat by 9 in the Pat Day Mile, so not very good there. Then beat by 4 in the Fountain of Youth. A little over his head there, but you go all the way back to the Swale at 7 furlongs, which is kind of like this similar distance sprint-wise. He ran a really good race and blew out Macho Music and Gunmetal both by 5 lengths. And we know we like Gunmetal, we know we like Macho Music. So if he can find that form again, he's going to be a nice little value play too. But I'm not really sure where he fits in here. So anyway, here's Gunmetal. Just 4 races. I mean, he was right on time with everybody else in February, but then just kind of took a break. Then won a race, then got another break. Tried to gear him up, and too much to ask. Obviously, in the Woody, he never was in that race either. Brad Cox regroups, gives him a freshening, and then going to try it again. The Gun Runner Colt I'm not sure if the speed's quite there. It does have good front end speed, like most gun runners do. But then the 85s and the 89s, if you go look through, you got 98. You got T Craft has some similar closing figures, but really a lot higher early pace, and better figures late. Smoking Wicked. So I don't think I'm going to get there with gunmetal as much as I like Brad Cox. I give him props though, because that Swale Stakes, or I mean the optional claimer here, he beat Tip Top Thomas at Keeneland. Tip Top Thomas won the Indiana Derby on the front end, flying. So he does have some chops. So I could see why Cox wanted to make that leap. So Matty Goal is a toss over his head entry. Does have a win in the carry back. I mean, I'd be surprised, but the speed figures aren't there. Has yet to crack 90. So I mean, we're looking for a lot better than that. Now here's Uncaged, and we spoke on him just a little bit earlier, but just to refresh, didn't cut it in the 2 tries in the Great Estate Company. He broke his maiden here going 6 furlongs. So it's logical to try to get this distance again. I think maybe that's a good idea to leave him in this race instead of the other one. So to sum this race up, I do like Smoking Wicked. I'm going to have to look a little deeper at these 2 races, but my first impression, Smoking Wicked, top-notch early speed. Just didn't have the fitness to hold there for a while, but I think he made a step in that direction in the last race. And obviously, Macho Music coming in fresh looks like one to beat. But I'm going to tentatively take Smoking Wicked for the win, and then with the 1, 4, and 5 and 1, 4, 5, 6 underneath. The T-Craft and the Gate to Wire are both possible value plays. I'm going to dig deeper in. I'm likely to have an idea or better idea later this week once more information comes out. And but that's all I have for now. These are 2 good races to like I said, wet your beak coming in to the weekend for Big Jim Dandy. Remember to sub to the channel, leave that comment to get into the draw, and hit that like button on your way out. We'll see you soon.